Outdoor spaces have a special way of becoming more beautiful with time, especially when weathered materials, soft planting, and thoughtful details are allowed to settle naturally into their surroundings. Today, we're exploring cottage farmhouse decorating ideas that turn porches, patios, garden paths, and entryways into warm, lived-in outdoor spaces. From reclaimed wood and vintage accents to relaxed seating and layered greenery, these ideas celebrate comfort over perfection. Welcome to Rustic and Rooted. A weathered wood bench gives a farmhouse entrance a useful anchor without crowding the doorway. Position it against the siding, leaving enough clearance for the door to swing freely and for guests to pass comfortably. A pair of low reclaimed crates can hold terracotta pots filled with thyme, white geraniums, or trailing ivy. Their modest height keeps the architecture visible and the arrangement easy to maintain. Around the steps, repeat materials already found on the house, so the entrance feels naturally connected to its surroundings. Gravel beside aged brick or flagstone works especially well with painted siding and exposed timber. 1 or 2 lanterns are usually enough. Too many small decorations can quickly look cluttered. Leave clear walking surfaces and place flowers toward the edges where watering and trimming will not interfere with daily movement. Rocking chairs work best when they have breathing room rather than being lined tightly across the porch. Angle 2 chairs slightly toward each other, with a sturdy side table between them for drinks, books, or gardening gloves. Plaid cushions in muted cream, olive, rust, or faded blue soften the wood while staying appropriate for a farmhouse exterior. A washable woven rug can define the seating zone beneath them. Porch plants should frame the seating rather than block views into the garden. Hanging ferns fit naturally near posts, while pots of compact hydrangeas or rosemary can sit closer to the steps. Maintain a generous route from the front door to the stairs, especially around rocking chair runners. Comfortable spacing reduces trip hazards and gives homeowners an easy place to sit while enjoying familiar garden views throughout the seasons. Galvanized tubs and buckets provide a practical contrast to soft cottage planting, especially beside weathered fencing or barnwood walls. Fill larger containers with upright rosemary, lavender, or dwarf ornamental grasses, then soften their edges with trailing thyme and calibrachoa. Smaller watering cans can hold one simple plant rather than complicated mixtures. Repeating silver gray metal in several locations ties separate planting areas together without requiring matching containers. Good drainage matters more than decoration when repurposing old metal pieces. Containers need drainage holes and should rest where excess water will not collect across walking surfaces. Group them in sets of 2 or 3 near a fence, porch post, or garden corner instead of scattering them everywhere. Leaving open ground between clusters simplifies sweeping, watering, and seasonal replacement while preventing the yard from resembling a crowded collection. Outdoor fabrics can soften hard farmhouse materials without hiding the beauty of wood and stone. A woven rug beneath a bench or pair of chairs establishes the base, while linen-look cushions and a lightweight throw provide finer texture above it. Against rough stone paving and an open timber pergola, these softer surfaces produce a balanced composition. Muted oatmeal, flax, brown, and faded green keep the palette grounded. Practical layering requires restraint because every additional textile eventually needs cleaning and storage. Select washable, weather-resistant pieces and limit loose throws to sheltered seating areas where they can be brought indoors easily. Burlap is attractive as a decorative accent but performs poorly when repeatedly soaked, so keep it under cover. Allow generous gaps around furniture legs and rug edges to prevent curled corners from becoming walking hazards. A cottage path gains much of its beauty from irregular planting along the edges, but the walking surface itself should remain dependable. Broad pieces of flat stone set into compacted gravel provide better footing than widely spaced stepping stones. Lavender, catmint, creeping thyme, and low pinks can soften the borders, while taller foxgloves or salvia belong farther back where stems will not lean across the root. Curves should have a purpose, gently directing the eye toward a gate, porch, or garden bench rather than wandering unnecessarily. Keep the path wide enough for comfortable movement and trim spreading plants before they narrow the usable surface. Reclaimed timber edging can contain gravel on level ground, although stone is often more durable near drainage areas. A simple route with one graceful bend usually looks more convincing than several tight curves. Vintage pieces are most effective beside a doorway when their scale supports the architecture instead of competing with it. A narrow wooden ladder can rest vertically against a blank section of siding, while an old milk can sit lower near the opposite corner. Surround these pieces with restrained plantings such as white geraniums, ivy, or compact boxwood, leaving the threshold itself open and visually calm. Because entrances receive frequent traffic, stability deserves special attention. Secure tall decorative pieces so wind cannot shift them, and avoid baskets or containers that project into the approach. Aged objects also benefit from occasional inspection for splintered wood, sharp metal edges, or rusted bases. Rather than filling every empty spot, allow siding, brick steps, and the door surround to remain visible. Those architectural surfaces provide valuable breathing room. Evening lighting works beautifully when it follows the structure of the farmhouse. Wall sconces beside a door can handle practical illumination, while a few warm string lights beneath porch rafters or an open pergola establish a softer background glow. Lanterns placed near seating should remain away from walking routes. Together, these different heights illuminate steps, tables, timber posts, and nearby foliage without turning the garden excessively bright. Consider what can be seen from inside the house as daylight fades. A softly illuminated climbing rose, fern, or small tree beyond a window can become part of the evening view, while moving leaves cast gentle shadows against siding and stone. For many homeowners, this restrained lighting extends the pleasure of the porch after sunset. Shielded fixtures and simple timers also reduce glare, maintenance, and unnecessary energy use. A long reclaimed wood table suits farmhouse dining, but its placement should respond to circulation before decoration. Set it parallel to the house, fence, or pergola so the arrangement follows an existing architectural line. Allow ample space behind chairs for people to stand comfortably. Mismatched wooden chairs can look intentional when their heights are similar, and their finishes stay within a restrained range of weathered brown tones. Instead of filling the tabletop with accessories, try one low arrangement of herbs, daisies, or garden clippings where it will not interrupt conversation. Gravel or flat stone beneath the dining area handles spills and garden soil better than delicate surfaces. Nearby rosemary and lavender offer fragrance without demanding elaborate care. Avoid placing dining furniture directly beneath messy fruit trees, where fallen produce and insects can complicate otherwise relaxed outdoor meals. Window boxes should relate closely to the width and proportions of the windows they serve. A box slightly narrower than the trim usually looks more integrated than one extending far beyond it. Upright geraniums or compact pelargoniums provide structure in the center, with lobelia, bacopa, or trailing ivy spilling gently over the front. Soft pink, white, lavender, and faded blue flowers complement traditional shutters and weathered siding. Maintenance becomes easier when boxes are reachable from the ground or porch rather than mounted unnecessarily high. Make sure drainage moves water away from wooden siding, and select plants according to the actual sun exposure of each wall. Deadheading a few dependable varieties is far simpler than managing numerous demanding species. From indoors, thoughtfully positioned flowers also frame the window view, allowing seasonal color to be enjoyed without walking into the garden. Natural stone gives a farmhouse patio a durable foundation that becomes more appealing as the surface weathers. Irregular flagstones can suit an informal cottage exterior, provided joints remain reasonably level and narrow enough for secure walking. Arrange wooden chairs and a bench around the perimeter rather than filling the center. That open middle zone improves circulation while allowing the varied stone pattern to remain visible. Planting along the patio edge can soften the transition into the garden without spilling heavily onto the paving. Rounded mounds of catmint, lavender, hardy geranium, and low grasses provide movement beside the heavier stone. Place taller shrubs behind seating where they offer enclosure without blocking views. A few medium terracotta pots are preferable to oversized containers, which can dominate the patio and become difficult to move, repot, or maintain. Old farm objects can serve useful landscape functions when each piece has a clear role. A half-barrel near a fence can hold compact hydrangeas, while a shallow wooden cart may support pots of herbs and trailing annuals. Woven baskets work best in protected areas because constant moisture shortens their life. Grouping these objects around one garden zone gives the collection purpose instead of spreading unrelated pieces across the yard. Before planting any reclaimed container, check its base, drainage, stability, and overall condition. Heavy barrels should be positioned before filling, ideally where watering can be done without carrying equipment across steps. Avoid placing carts or baskets beside narrow paths where handles and wheels become obstacles. Reusing sound materials can keep decorating costs modest, and changing only the seasonal plants allows the display to evolve without purchasing new garden ornaments each year. Creamy siding, faded green shutters, warm brown timber, and natural stone form a quiet farmhouse palette that works across changing seasons. Rather than matching every surface exactly, repeat related tones at different strengths. A weathered bench might echo exposed rafters, while sage foliage connects shutters with the garden. White hydrangeas, lamb's ear, lavender, and ornamental grasses introduce subtle variation without overwhelming the restrained architectural colors. Neutral schemes benefit from texture because too little contrast can leave an exterior looking flat. Pair rough stone with visible wood grain, matte terracotta, woven fabrics, and softly moving foliage. Darker brown or charcoal details can define doors and lanterns in small amounts. As flowers change through spring, summer, and fall, the steady background keeps everything composed, giving homeowners a welcoming setting that remains familiar and comfortable year after year. Cottage farmhouse outdoor style is less about decorating every corner and more about combining useful spaces with materials and details that age gracefully. Weathered wood, natural stone, familiar flowers, comfortable seating, and carefully placed vintage pieces can make a garden feel welcoming without becoming difficult to maintain. The most meaningful outdoor spaces often reflect the people who care for them and the seasons they've enjoyed there. If you feel inspired, subscribe, like this video, and share your favorite idea in the comments.